So, today in this class we will discuss about some utility programs. There are many utility programs, and basically the utility programs are the system softwares. We have discussed in the previous classes about the software. Softwares are of two types, system software and application software. And in the categories of system software, there are many types of softwares comes, and the the most important one is the operating system. And after operating system, there are some utility softwares which are known as system software. And this utility software, it allows the user to perform maintenance type of task. As we are using a system, the system should be maintained properly. We should take care of it. We should take care of all the devices attached to the system, so that the system can help in performing a task. Now, in order to maintain the system, for the maintenance of the systems, we need the utility programs. Okay. So, let us discuss the first utility program, that is, and these are some of the utility programs. As you can see, is nahi na, is jo pointing ta nahi na. These are some of the utility programs you can find in system tools, and these are managing files. In that menu you can see computer, that is for managing files, that opens my computer, where you can create, delete, update all the files. Then clean off, disk clean off, you can clean the unnecessary files. Disk defragmenter, you can defragment the disk of the system. And system restore, system backup, all these things, all these programs are the utility programs, and we are going to discuss some of them. We are going to discuss about some of these utility programs. So, next the first utility program is a file manager. As you can see in that window opened, it shows all the files. Using file manager, we can display a list of files. We can organize files into folders, like related files, the files which are related to each other, we can make it a group, and those group of files can be stored in a by a name, that is called a folder. Can stored by a name, one name in which all the related files will remain. Okay, that is called a folder. Then we can copy, rename files, we can delete the files whichever not necessary. We can move files from one folder to another folder, we can shift it, and we can sort the files and folders. We can sort it in some order, because sorting helps in sorting the files. Sometimes if your folder is going to have many files, it is difficult to sort the file. So, if you can sort it in some order, ascending or descending by their name, then you can sort it better. Okay. Then creating shortcuts. What the shortcut is? Shortcut is a way to open a file without going to its application. Without going to open the application, you can open a file by using its shortcut. By right clicking on the file, we can create a shortcut of it, we can place it anywhere, and as you double click on the shortcut, it will display, open the file directly with its respective application. You do not have to go to the application then open the file. That is what the shortcut is. We can create shortcuts also by using this file manager. Moving next, search utility. Our system is having many files, many folders, many files. It is difficult to remember all the files, all the folders where it is placed in the system, as the disk is of some GB, the capacity of the disk is some GB, and it is difficult for any user to remember where the files are present, where a particular file is present. You may place it somewhere according to its group, to the relation with other files, but when you are thinking about a file and to open the file, you may not get it easily. So, for that there is a utility program that is called search. It comes with the with any operating system, that is called search. So, where you can find this search? As you open the My Computer, you can see in this window of My Computer, on the first row, right side of the first row, there it is written search criteria. You can provide what you want to search. You can give a criteria for your search, and criteria for the search may be the initial names of the file, the initial characters of the file name or the folder, or you may use the wildcat characters like star. Star represents one or more character. If you want to sort suppose all the files starting beginning with the character A, then you can write there A star. You can write there A star. I also can write na. It likhe ho nahi. Oh, ସେଇଟା focus କଲନି. Okay. So for giving us source criteria, we can use the wildcat characters like star. Star represents one or more character. If I want to sort suppose all the files beginning with A, then in the box source criteria I can give A star dot star. A star dot star, that means any file, any type of file, because after dot the extension name gives the type of file. If you want to see all the files, whatever the type may be, you want to know all the files which are starting with A, following any number of character and any character, then you can write there A star dot star. Or suppose I want to open a word processor file, a document file, I can write there A star dot doc. Similarly, you can give any source criteria there, it opens all the files and folders. In the below area you can see here it gives the source criteria as FLOW. So any file, any folder that starts with the character FLOW, these are going to be displayed here, and whatever you need, whatever file you need that begins with FLOW, you can select it from here. So this is the benefit of source utility. This is a utility program. Then following next, the next utility program is a image viewer. Image viewer, this utility program helps to display one image, copy image, print the image also. As you can see, this is the image viewer window, photo viewer. This window, a picture is opened, and using this window, using this application, we can enlarge the size of the picture. As you can see in the first, here, it gives you the to enlarge or to reduce the size of the picture. Then it gives to move to the next picture in the folder where it is present, or to move to the next previous picture that is present, or you may rotate. You may rotate the image. You may change in anti-clockwise or clockwise. You may rotate the image. Then you can use the next two. And if you want to delete the image, then you can use the last one, the cross. This click on this, that will delete the image. Okay. So basically this is the image viewer. It facilitates all the type of activity what you can do in an image. Okay. Then next comes the OnInstaller. The next utility program is OnInstaller. What it does, sometimes what happens, we install some files, we install some applications, and after some time, after using it some time, we feel that this application is no more necessary in the system. So if you find any application or any software or any program that is no more necessary in your system, then you may remove it from your system, because unnecessary it may take load of that application. The system may take the load of the application. It consumes memory when it consumes some disk space. It consumes some memory, because when the system is opened, some services of the applications automatically starts. That also consumes memory. So if any such application is there which you may not going to use in future, then you may uninstall it. And to uninstall any application or software from the system, you can use the utility program OnInstaller, that you can find in the control panel. In the control panel, uninstall programs or add remove programs, you can go there and you can uninstall whatever application you want to uninstall. Just right click on the application that you want to uninstall, and as you right click on it, or on to the right side of the application, you sometimes you find either you right click, you see uninstall option there, click uninstall, or as you select the program that you want to uninstall, to the right side of it you can find uninstall. There is a button uninstall, you click there, it will uninstall the application from your system. It will remove all necessary files, all necessary programs, those are present for the application from your system. Okay. So that is what the benefit of this utility program OnInstaller is. Then moving next, disk cleanup. disk cleanup. Why it is necessary, the utility program disk cleanup? Because some files we may not need after some time to remain in the system. Uninstall the applications, the programs, the application or softwares from your system, but this disk cleanup will remove unnecessary files. You can remove unnecessary files from your system by using this utility program, that is called disk cleanup. So what are the unnecessary files we can remove from this by using this? That is all the downloaded program files. You see, once a file is downloaded, once a file or a something is downloaded and you have used it, then you may need to remove it from the download list. So that is a list, download list. From the download list you may remove the program file. Or temporary internet files. While browsing internet or working on internet, it creates many temporary files. Okay, what we get is only one window, one page in front of the screen, but on the background, to open that page it uses many associated files. It opens many associated files or download many associated files to your system, and because of those associated files only you are able to see the page. It is not only one file because of which you are able to see the page, web page or the website. Okay, so there are many associated files with it. So when you work in internet, those associated files with the page or the site comes to your system. Now after browsing, after going through all the after doing your job in that website, you may need to remove all those temporary files. Those are temporary files. As long as you are opened with the web page, as long as you open the website, those files will remain in your that should remain in your system. And as you close the page or as you close the site in browser, then those files are no more necessary. So those files you can remove from your system. That is what called temporary internet files. Okay, and then comes deleted files. Some files we delete. Okay, like when we delete a file, that goes to recycle bin. Whenever we delete a file, in the first step it goes to recycle bin. It doesn't remove entirely from the disk. Okay, it gives one chance or opportunity for the user that in the first step it allows the user to delete the file. That means we can say like we are marking the files to remove from the disk. Then after some time, when you feel that it should be deleted permanently, then you can remove it from the recycle bin. For the first step, when you delete a file, that goes to the recycle bin. Now if you want to remove all those files, deleted files from the recycle bin, so that it can physically remove from your disk, entirely remove from the system, then you can go for this option, deleted files. Then comes unused program files. So system can identify, because it keeps track of the programs, the applications you open time to time. So any unnecessary, any unused program files, the operating system can identify when the last file was used. If it was not, if it was used before, long before, and not used in very recent time, then those files may be removed by using this disk cleanup. Okay, that it says the unused files. You have not opened those files for many long time. You have not used those files for long time. So those unused files you can remove from your system by using this utility program. And all these options you can find in this box, disk cleanup. You can find this in that menu I have shown you in the first page, in start menu accessories systems. Within that you can find this disk cleanup, and you can what type of file you can delete from your system. Those are listed there. You just can click on that checkbox, whatever you want to delete, and click on OK. It will remove those files from your system. This is a utility program, disk cleanup. Then coming next, disk defragmenter. Then comes disk defragmenter. Defragmenter. Okay. Now, as you know that disk is a number of platters. As you can see the picture of platters, the hard disk, we say the hard disk. The hard disk is having a number of platters like that. Okay, the number of platters are there, and the files are stored in the platter. The platter is divided into sectors and tracks. Okay, you can see each one of these circle within the platter. Each one of these circle is known as a track, and each of the track is divided into sectors. These are called the sectors. These are called the sectors, and each of the circle is a track. This is a track, this is another track, these are tracks, and these are the sectors. So it is divided into tracks and sectors, and when a file is saved in a disk, it is not going to store in all consecutive tracks or in all consecutive sectors. As you can see, this may be one file, which is stored, some part of the file is stored here, some part of the file is stored here. It is a different track number, this is a different sector number. This sector alag hai, these sectors are different, these tracks are also different. This is a different track, this is a different track, and these sectors are also different. Now the same file, one file that is stored in different sectors and different tracks of the disk. Why it is so? Because at the time the file comes to the system, whatever tracks, whatever places available at that time are assigned to the file, and the portions of the file are present at different places in the disk, scattered through the disk. It is scattered through the disk. As you can see in the first platter, in this platter you can see the files are scattered through. Okay, it may be one or two files, but all these are scattered through many places, 8 or 9 places. So defragmenter, this utility program defragmenter, what it does, it defragments. That means the disk is fragmented, the file is fragmented and placed at different places. It defragments. That means it brings all the related portions of a file into one place. ओके जो फाइल का जो अलग अलग पोर्शन है, जो अलग अलग जगह में है, वो सबको इकट्ठा कर लेता है. इट ब्रिंग्स ऑल दोज पोर्शंस इनटू वन प्लेस एंड इट इज गोइंग टू बी इन कंसेक्यूटिव ट्रैक्स एंड सेक्टर्स. एज यू कैन सी हियर, all these the portions of the file which are scattered throughout are all after defragmentation. After using this utility program defragmentation, you see all these are now coming in sequence in consecutive sectors and tracks. Okay, each of the sector is numbered, each of the track is also numbered. Now all these which are present in patches, okay, initially after defragmentation, now it comes in continuous tracks and sectors. Now what is the benefit of doing this defragmentation? Why you need to defragment the disks regularly at some interval? If you do not defragment this, your system becomes slow. Why the system is slow? Because as usual, if you are going to sort something, we are going to sort something, and that what we are going to sort, the part of that device, suppose we are going to sort a device, we are going to camera stand, suppose we are going to sort the camera stand, and the parts of the camera stands are present at different places at home. Okay, the stand has different parts. If we unassemble it, it has different parts, and different parts are placed at different places in the home. Now if you need the stand to assemble, you have to sort all the parts of the that stand and make it assemble. You have to sort throughout the home where the other parts are present, and you have to assemble it. But if you keep all the parts of the stand at one place, if you place all the parts of the stand, it is deassembled, but you place all at once, then you do not have to sort. You just bring it and assemble it, it is ready. So that is what the case. If the portions of a file are present at different places in a disk, then whenever you are going to sort the disk, or you want to open the disk, you are going to work on the disk, the system is going to sort that portion of the file at different places and get them collected, and then it is opened for you. But if you defragment the disk, what happen? The portions of the file which are present initially at different places now coming to one place. So if it can find the file at one place, that means it finds the entire file, and it doesn't have to search any other place of the disk, and that makes the operation faster. To speed up the system, regularly you need to defragment the disk. This is called defragmentation. The utility is called defragmentation, that you also can do in that system tools what I have shown. In that they are present this defragmentation, there you can do this. It reorganizes the files and unused space on the computer's hard disk, so that the operating system accesses data more quickly and runs programs faster. Okay. Coming next, the backup utility. Backup utility is most important. Backup utility means whenever you are working on a system, you need to back up the system. We need to some important files and programs to be backed off. Why you need to back off? Because it may happen. Sometimes your system may crash. Okay, you are working on a system, may the disk crash, or maybe some part of the system crash, due to which you may lose all your important files or all your important programs or applications. So what you need to do, you need to keep a backup of your system. system backup. I am not saying about a file backup or program backup. You take a system backup. So entire system, your entire system, whatever OS is loaded, whatever applications loaded, whatever files present in your system, all are taken backup, all are taken and is stored as an image at some different places. You can take a backup in a separate disk. Okay, because if the main disk that is present in your system is crashing, then you can use that backup disk as to run the system. Okay. So, basically this backup is needed when your disks to save your programs and files in the case of disk failure. In the case of disk failure, if your original disk fails, you can keep a backup of the entire disk, so that you can restart the system faster and quickly. And that restoring the disk, restoring the system before the failure, before the point of failure, what the system state is, to restore into that state, you can use the utility that is called restore utility. Backing of utility and restore utility. You can take backup regularly, so that you can have one image of the of your disk present somewhere, that you can restore anytime your disk failures. Okay. So, there are two utilities, backup utility and restore utility. As you can find, this is also present in that menu I have shown in the first page. Here you can take a backup, and if necessary you can take the backup in a separate disk, and whenever required you can use that disk with the system to restore the files. Then coming next is screensaver and personal firewall. Screensaver, what a screensaver is, so what happens sometimes while working on a system, we sometimes leave the system idle, maybe knowingly or unknowingly we leave the system idle. Okay. And when we leave the system idle, and then we always need that the system should be protected, we need the system to be protected. So, if I leave the system, I keep the system idle, I am doing nothing and leave the system, I leave the place where I use the system, and somebody else comes, then he use the system, he can get all the access, he can get, because the system is open, it is not locked. So, he can get access to all the files and programs whatever available. So, if you want to protect your system from unauthorized access, that is where this screensaver will be helpful for you. So, screensaver is a program, a utility program that runs after some time your system remain idle. Okay. After some time, for 10 seconds or 15 seconds or 20 seconds, for some time your system remains idle, the screensaver program will automatically run, and you can give a password there. If the screensaver is running, somebody wants to open the system, it will ask the password to enter, and as a user you only know the password. If you give the password, you can enter, otherwise anybody else cannot enter into the system. That is how it protect you from unauthorized accessing your system, screensaver. And it shows moving images. In screensaver you can see moving images, blank screens, or any other activity you can keep as a screensaver. Then personal firewall. What a firewall is? Firewall is a program that detects and protects personal computers from unauthorized access. Now, what kind of unauthorized access is this? I told about screensaver. Screensaver means physically somebody is coming to your place and using your system. That is how it can protect you, screensaver. Now, firewall is a program that protect your system to accessed by some unauthorized user in internet. In internet, when you are connected to internet, your system is open to the internet. Your system is open to the internet. Anybody outside can access your system, or can access some files of your system, can get access to the files of your disk of your system if it is connected to internet. Now, to disallow those unauthorized users to access your system, to restrict those users to access your system, you can use firewall. You can have a program in your program, that is in your system, that is called firewall. It detects and protects. It can detect if somebody trying to access your system, it can detect it, who is it accessing, and it can deny the access of your system to the unauthorized user. that is called intrusions, unauthorized intrusions. If somebody else is trying to enter into your system through some other programs, through his programs, he cannot enter if firewall is installed on your system. This is another utility program and most important utility program if you are using internet, if your system is connected to internet. This is one of the example of firewall zone alarm. This is one application, firewall application that we can install in your system that protect you from unauthorized intrusions. Coming next comes the virus. Now we will discuss about next utility program, and before going to discuss about that utility program, that is called antivirus program, let us try to understand what a virus is. Okay, antivirus program is the utility program that we will discuss, and before antivirus we should know what a virus is. A virus describes a potentially damaging computer program that affects a computer negatively. Okay, a virus is a program, a virus like a human virus, that if any way it enter into the system, into our body system, it may damage some part of our body. Similarly, that is a biological virus. Similarly, here a computer virus is a program. If that enters, because I told you before now, just if your system is connected to internet, if your system is connected to internet and there is no firewall to restrict unauthorized websites or unauthorized users to access your system, then some unauthorized programs may get into your system, and once it get into the system, it may affect your system negatively. That means it may damage your system, it may damage your operating system, it may damage some important files of your system. In some way it may damage the system. You cannot use it the usual way, the system you cannot use in the usual way you do. Okay, that is what a virus is. A virus is a potentially damaging computer program that affects the computer negatively. That means it get damage the system in some way. It may damage the device, some of the device attached to the system, or it may damage some of the programs, important programs present in your system. Then what a worm is? Worm is different than virus. Okay, a worm is different, a virus is different. A worm is a worm copies itself repeatedly in memory for over a network. Now what a worm is, virus damage the system, anything that comes to damage your system, any program outside coming to damage your system, that is a virus. Now there is a type of virus that is called a worm, and the characteristics of a worm is it replicates itself. It replicates itself repeatedly, it makes copies of itself repeatedly without your knowledge. One program enter and without your knowledge on the background, it is going to repeat itself, it is going to copy many programs of it itself and consuming all your disk space. Because if suppose the file is of 10 kilobyte, then if it is replicating 10 kilobyte is replicate into two files of 20 kilobyte, then 20 kilobyte then replicating to 40 kilobyte, 40 kilobyte is replicating to 80 kilobyte. You can imagine it is going to be in a exponential growth and it will consume all your system disk space at a time. These are called the worm. It may take hold of your entire memory and it may take hold of your entire disk. You cannot use your system anymore. And one of the virus is Trojan horse. This very well known virus Trojan horse that enters into the system, and this virus is always there in internet. Okay, whenever it gets the chance to enter into any system, it enters into the system and hides within and looks like a legitimate program, and you cannot identify this Trojan horse. You cannot identify. You open your program, you feel, when you open a program, you feel that your program is open, but that is not your program. That is a virus Trojan horse. That is what is open and you see is your program. It is like that. It doesn't seem that it is a virus. It seems like your program, but on the background that is not your program. That is a Trojan horse virus. Okay. Then comes the role of antivirus programs. When viruses enter into the system like this, then you need some antivirus programs to protect your system from viruses. And most popular antivirus programs are Norton antivirus, Quick Kill antivirus. Okay, these are some of the mostly popular antivirus programs. These are available that you can install on your system to protect it from the viruses. Okay, so what an antivirus program is? It is a program which protects a computer against the viruses. If the program is installed on your computer, it is always alert, it is always active, and if ever a virus is able to enter it can detect the virus and protect it to enter into your system. It gives a message to the user that this is the file, this is the program trying to enter, and it is blocked. That means that virus is not allowed to enter to your system. The antivirus protect you from that. Okay. So this is called antivirus. This is about the antivirus programs, and some of the signs of antivirus are like, how can you know that your system is affected with virus? Like an unusual message or image is displayed on the computer system. When you see some unusual messages, unusual images, you are working in a program, but some image comes, some message comes which is not related to your program, some unnecessary image or unnecessary message, then you should get alert that there is a virus entered into your system. Okay. Then second one, an unusual sound or music plays randomly. If any music plays randomly, the virus may come in any form. It may come in the form of image, it may come in the form of video, it may come up in the form of audio, any form it can enter into the system. So if it enter into the in a form of audio, that maybe when you are working the system, a music runs randomly, that you cannot identify that what the music is, where it comes from, and it goes on running randomly. That is one way you can know that the virus is entered into your system. Then the available memory is less than what should be available. The available memory which should be available after opening your application, after opening all your programs, now roughly you can say that this much of memory is now available with my system, but you find that less than that are available. That means some of the portion of memory is consumed by the virus. That is another way of detecting that your system is affected by virus. An unknown program or file that is mysteriously appears, that I told, the size of a file changes without explanation. You have created a file, the file size was 10 kilobyte, but after some days you find that file is now 100 kilobyte. How it happens? Now you created the file of 10 kilobyte, the original file is of 10 kilobyte, now it becomes 100 kilobyte. That means you get alert that something is on your background, without your knowledge, something is going on in your system, some virus is entered into your system. Okay. A file becomes computed, corrupted. A file becomes corrupted. अगर एक file कोई corrupt हो गया, then you can say it is a job of what the virus entered. Then a program or file does not work properly. System properties change. The computer operates much slower than usual. If memory is consumed, if more memory is consumed than usual memory, what you are expecting, then obviously the system is going to be slow and running slower. So these are all the symptoms, these are all the signs you can identify. Like a doctor identify when a patient goes to for diagnosis, the doctor asking for the symptoms, he can know that what type of virus enter into the body. Similarly, you can identify from these symptoms that your system is affected by a virus. Okay, you can identify from this, and this is one example of Norton antivirus, the home screen of Norton antivirus, one of the popular antivirus that is used nowadays throughout. Okay. This is about the antivirus utility program, antivirus. Then coming to, then we are going to know about the spyware. The spyware and hardware. What a spyware is? It is a program placed on a computer without the user knowledge, and that secretly collect information about the user. Now this virus is very dangerous. It is without your knowledge, it enter into your system and it is going to collect your personal information. When we are using a system personally, we are doing a lot of things there. We are doing banking transactions where we give our username, password, all those things while logging into the system. Those are very important things, very important information about a user. Your account details, your Aadhaar details. If we do all the works digitally online, then we are giving all these things details in our system. And spyware, it is a type of virus which if it enter into your system, it is going to collect all those personal information. And whoever outside can get access of the spyware can get or collect all your personal information about your bank details, your financial transactions, about your Aadhaar numbers, about all the details, whatever you are doing digitally by using a system. that is called a spyware. Then adware, what a adware is. And now what is needed, what is the utility program needed for removing and detecting a spyware? That is spyware remover. It is available in the market, it is not coming with the operating system. With the operating system, only thing is coming is firewall, except that you, to protect your system, you have to purchase these utility softwares from the market and keep your system, install in your system, so that you can get protected from different viruses like antivirus programs. And this spyware remover, this is also another program that can detect and remove spyware from your system. Okay. And then is adware. Adware is another utility program which displays an online advertisement in a banner or pop-up window. Adware, it is a type of, we can say it is a type of virus which unnecessarily is going to show you some advertisements. You can, if you are browsing internet, you can find it, you can feel it that you are going to a page, you are going to open a page, and within 1 or 2 minutes you can find 10 to 15 advertisements. You are getting less information on the page, but you are getting more advertisement, more pop-ups. It is showing some small windows where some information, advertisement about a product or company is appearing on the screen. So if it appear again and again over you on the screen, then you may get disturbed browsing the information what you want. So in order to stay out of that, you do not want the pop-up to stop your browsing regularly. You do not want those advertisements to appear in the process of browsing. So what you can do, you can have a adware remover in your system. You can install a adware remover that will enable your system to block those pop-up windows which are going to be displayed for some advertisement. They are going to block those pop-up windows. Okay. So these are the utility programs. Then moving to some filters. There are some filters. Now what is the use of these filters? The filters are the programs that removes or blocks certain items from being displayed. Okay. Like usually we know filter is going to remove from a mixture, it is going to remove the 2 different or 3 different categories what are there in the mixture. So like that, filter are the programs that remove or blocks certain items from being displayed. It filters out from certain things from your system. That is called a filter. Web filtering software, it helps to filter out. Suppose you do not need any sports website to get displayed. Okay, you do not need any sport or game website to get displayed while browsing your system. So what you can do, you can install a web filter, and there you can mention the addresses of the sites those you do not want to come to appear in your system, or anybody if he is going to open those websites or pages, it will deny to open those. Okay. So that is called web filtering. They like similarly anti-programs, anti-spam programs, that is another filter, phishing filters, and pop-up blockers that we discuss about adware remover, like that. Okay. These are some of the filter programs used as utility programs. Then comes the compression, file compression utility. File compression utility is another utility program. It helps to keep reduce the size of the file. Compression utility program, it helps to reduce the size of the file, so that the more files can be accommodated in a disk. Okay. What happens sometimes, we want more files, we want more programs to be loaded, to be there in my disk, but I may not get that much of space in my disk to store all those programs or files. So what we can do, some of the files or programs we can compress by using these utility programs, file compression utility programs. So what will happen, the size of the file will get reduced. It may get reduced up to the size, half of the size, or maybe less than that. So more number of files can be there in your disk, and at the time you open the program, at the time you open the file, that file is again uncompressed. There is a process that is called compression and uncompression. You reduce to keep it in your disk, you can reduce it, you can compress the file, and once you want to open the file, you want to work on the file, then you can open it, and to open the file first you have to uncompress the file. Okay. And compressing a file sometimes called as zipped file, those files are sometimes called as zipped file, and uncompressed, and before you are going to use any of the zipped file, you need to uncompress it so that you can open the file and work with it. And compression of files are of two types, lossy and lossless. Lossy compression means it is going to, lossy compressions are basically used in case of reducing the size of image and videos, because in case of reducing image, the size of image and videos, the size is may not reduced as much like text. Text files are get reduced up to 50% of the size, but image and videos are not going to reduced up to that. They reduced by some size, but it is very less than other text files or other files. So in that case, what we sometimes do, we allow lossy compression. Lossy compression means the file of the image or video get reduced to some more lesser size. Okay. And lossless means if it is a important image, if it is one important video, or if it is some important text, we do not want to lose anything while reducing the file. If we reduce something in a image or video, that doesn't matter, but if you reduce a text file and losing some information, that may corrupt the file, or the file may not be useful for future use. Okay. That is why there are two types of compression, lossy compression and lossless compression. According to your suitability, what type of compression you want, you can choose it, and accordingly it will get reduced to accommodate more files accommodate in your disk. Then comes media player. Media player is another utility program that is used to, it allows to view images, animations, listen to audio, and watch video files in your computer. Some media players coming, Windows media player that comes with the Windows operating system. If it is not there, also we have many media players available, those you can install in your system in order to listen to audios and watch videos, and for viewing animations and images. So these are some of the utility programs. And another utility program is disk burning software. Disk burning software, it is used to create a CD. To create a CD, to make a copy of some information and keep it in a CD, you can have that burning software, that is also available. This is personal computer maintenance utility. Norton utility is a utility program that is provided by Norton, and it can be used for the maintenance utility. For all those whatever we discuss now, utility programs, all can be available in one bundle that is provided by Norton, that you can purchase it from market, and you can install to get all these utility programs available in your system. Okay. Thank you very much. This is all about the utility programs. Sorry.